Hello, my dear friends. Paul Eric Killian. I'm back with another program. Today's program is called The Times, the BC and AC. And some of you guys are probably wondering, is he talking about before Christ and why isn't he saying AD and he's saying AC? But let me clarify myself. So the times for us, as a parent, somebody who became a parent. So it's before children and after children. I have a feeling, deep feeling, I'm a parent of 22 years, 21 and a half years now almost. And I have a feeling that my calendar has started since I became a father. So I can't really hardly, picture myself without being, as not being a parent. I cannot have a mental picture of myself not being a parent. And I cannot have any kind of data without the children's existence in my life. So everything that has to do with my calendar now, I can remember when I get together with my friends from high school and from elementary school. I can remember a lot of things that we used to do together, and that's fine. We can always go back to that time frame. But I think that most of you guys would agree with me that after you become a parent, your calendar basically starts from that point. So our times, our calendars should be BC and AC, meaning that before children and after children, or before child, after child. And that changes a whole lot of who we are, the type of people we are. I have had many friends tell me that, before they became a parent, including myself, I will testify to that. Before I became a parent, I would sleep so deep, you would hardly be able to wake me up with a bomb going off in my room. But right in 1996, when I became a father, when my daughter was born, just a little noise the baby would make, I would jump up, I would wake up. And since that time, so this is in my AC time, after child time, I'm a very light sleeper. So I would wake up, I would jump up. If there's little noise in my house, anywhere, I'm up, ready to protect my family. So that changes as well. And I've talked to many people and they've testified to that, they've become light sleepers after becoming a parent, So their AC times are working just like mine. So I'm not unusual and neither are they. I think it's just something that we gain as a parent. When we become a parent, we become a different person. So we have those abilities to protect our child, and we have those abilities to wake up and have a different sense developed in us when we're going out on a vacation, when we're going out to places. How careful are we, traveling to countries where you feel that a child may be abducted or whatever. I've traveled when my kids were small, and I was so conscious and so cautious. It looked like I had another sense that was not describable of how strong that sense was. So I could feel who's walking behind me just because I had a child with me, and I had to feel that responsibility of protecting my child. So that feeling is what brings us to gaining wrinkles and getting gray hair and all that. And I sincerely, deeply believe that, because if we were sort of careless before, in the BC time, before child times, and we were just caring about, not being hungry, having fun, listening to good music, and running around, and at the younger ages. I got married so young that just having a girlfriend and having some happiness, some good times to share, and whatever. Well, after the child, now there's somebody that you love more than yourself. You're willing to basically give more to that person, to that child, to that being that carries your genes and your blood in their veins, to give them so much that it takes so much out of you. Just the mere concern of that child. When the child first becomes a driver and starts driving a vehicle. When my daughter first started driving and she had to drive to school, I would drive faster than her. I would go to her school at Glendale High School and find parking around the neighborhoods on Harvard or whatever street And I would find the parking and I would call her and I would say, I'm on this street, I found parking for you. Come by, and I will have my flashers on, my blinkers. I'll pull out and you pull in, so you will have parking for yourself. I mean, those are some things. And even right now, I mean, she's been driving for years now, and my son's been driving for at least a year now. And I still, until they come home, it makes no difference if it's, 4 o'clock in the afternoon that they're going somewhere to the store or coming back from school or something, or it's 10:30 in the evening and they're at a relative's house or a cousin's house or out having dinner and coming back home. I have the same kind of concern that I have to live with. And, basically, it takes so much out of me, and same with my wife. It takes so much out of us to see that they just stepped into the house. I don't know if it's about being an Armenian parent or not, but this is something that I feel that it's a parently thing. It's not just a Armenian parent thing. Though I find that Armenian parents are a lot more attached to their children, and it's very much harder for them to let the child go to university or live far away or whatever. But nonetheless, so becoming a parent and having that AC time kick in, where it's after the child time, it takes a big toll on a person's health and on a person's well-being. So I've tried to find ways that we can comfort us, and one of the most important things I think that every parent should think about is, in their AC time, is to try to understand that that child is becoming an adult, and that child is an individual, and that individual has to be trusted and respected as an individual so that they can do their own thing, and we can have enough faith in our upbringings of that child to allow them to become an individual person and not depend on us so much more anymore, So it's very, very important, but it's a hard thing. It's easier said than done. It's a very difficult thing to do. But my suggestion is to any parents out there who are having the same kind of feelings, a child's out, what time are they coming home? What's going on? Why is he coughing? Why is he sneezing? Whatever's going on, did he eat? Did she eat? What did they eat for dinner? That food is bad. Why did they eat? You have to be able to trust them, give them the education to do the right thing. Basically, whether it's about eating the right foods or it's about, where to go and where not to go, the places that could be trouble to them, and kind of teach them. Don't tell them you can't do it, but kind of tell them, hey, this is probably not the right idea, not the best thing for you to do. So think otherwise, have a different plan, put a second plan together and do something else. Things like that, so we can feel a lot more comfortable and trust our kids to make the right judgment and make the right decision when they need to do that. So bringing up children, you got to think about what college are they going to go to, what kind of education are they going to get. Everybody wants their child to become a PhD, but you know what? Is that what the child wants? Is that what the child is wired for? And if the child does not live up to your expectations, does that mean the child is a failure? Absolutely not. That not in my personal opinion. I think that once you start trusting them enough that they're individuals now and respecting them as individuals, I think that then you have to see how they're growing and becoming who they're becoming and respect who they're becoming. And as a parent, you're so tempted to tell them that, hey, don't do this, don't do that. But there's also a way of saying that so it doesn't sound like you're talking at them, but rather than it sounds like you're talking to them and with respect and talking as two adults and seeing which avenue is the best one to take. It's a very difficult subject to deal with, but it's one that is a must give attention to type of subject, not something you can ignore, because it will haunt you down for no reason. They might be doing completely fine, but you might have that OCD that you're stuck to that concept of, well, my child's got to, where are they? What are they doing? I mean, they should be home by this time or whatever. But you know what? You might be completely offline, and they might be doing something at that time that you were doing, but because your calendar sort of gets erased, you know, from the times that you were a little child and what you were doing, and what it took your parents to raise you. You kind of forget that, because like I said, honestly, you know, it feels like my my calendar started from the time that I became a parent, and not much of my past is coming to my immediate recollection every single time that I talk to my children. So sometimes we wonder why, you know, you buy a little iPhone with little capabilities, and it's got all kinds of owner's manuals, and you know, how to make it user friendly. You know, you have a child with unlimited abilities. Why isn't there an owner's manual with the child of how to do things? You know, obviously there's child therapists and psychologists and this and that. Those guys will guide you in the right direction. But, you know, nonetheless, you know, it becomes a problem, because we sometimes forget the things that we wanted to do, and the kind of mindsets that we had as a child and while we were growing, or young adults and whatever. So I think the key, when I try to analyze these things and understand how do I deal with these two young adults in my house, an adult and a young adult, how do I deal with them? You know, how do I deal with the fact that, you know, now they're adults, they've got to go to a place, maybe they'll be coming home at 11:30 or maybe midnight or whatever. How do you deal with that? How do you put up with that? You know, and so you have to start trusting these people, because they are people. They are, you know, individuals. And if you want that individual to go and become somebody or something in their lives, then you've got to give them enough to do that, you know. If you keep them in their, you know, little cage, so to say, that's the same thing as what society has done to all of us by putting those paradigms around our heads, and why, you know, we are only using 9% of the 33 billion neurons that we have in our brains. Why are we using so little of our capacity of the brain? Because of the paradigms. Well, you know, when certain people take certain children and put them into those little cages, and then they want that child to go into real life, into real situations, and be able to succeed and be able to deal with what's out there, and they have an extremely difficult time. So my whole thing today was the times of BC and AC, which is before child, or before children, and after children, and wanted to kind of share that with you, and kind of talk to you about those thoughts and feelings that we all have once we become a parent. So thank you very, very much for allowing me to be part of your day today. Have a fantastic rest of your evening on this Tuesday evening, and I will connect with you guys soon. Thank you very, very much.